He admitted to buying these weapons at a Valley gun show. Channel 5's Christian von Preissing joins us with more now on how he was able to get his hands on them. Christian.
Taylor, there are clear laws that say whether someone in the country illegally can own a gun. There are also rules for the sale of guns at gun shows. We spoke to a licensed gun vendor to get those answers. Gun dealer Brian Guerra says one of the basic questions in the background check, more formally known as an ATF firearms transaction record, is a person's legal status.
If someone is in the country illegally, they are not allowed to possess a firearm.
Tirso Antonio Melean Castellano is charged under 18 U.S. Code 922, accusing him of possessing and transporting 2 firearms and being in the country illegally. As far as the accusation that he purchased the guns at a Valley gun show, Guerra says there are 2 types of sellers at a gun show. First is a licensed vendor.
So a licensed vendor is required to do the proper federal background checks on any individual that they're selling a firearm to at a gun show.
A licensed vendor has to fill out the same form as you would have to fill out when buying a gun at a gun store. Guerra says the second kind of seller at a gun show is a private seller.
A private individual can go to a gun show, rent a booth as per the federal law, and they could sell their private property at a gun show.
Guerra says the private seller is not required to fill out the same paperwork.
That private individual, to the best of their ability, has to make sure that they are selling it to a legal person. Keep in mind that the definition of best of their ability is kind of loosely defined. There is no criteria for best of their ability in the rules and regulations.
But Guerra says any private seller who has any knowledge that someone is prohibited from purchasing a firearm is prohibited from selling a gun. The rules vary depending on who is selling the gun, but Guerra recommends private sellers do their homework on a buyer to avoid liability. He says a seller can always face a lawsuit from someone who has a grievance. Any private seller should ask lots of questions, and a private seller can also go to a gun store to pay for a person-to-person sale through a licensed gun dealer to avoid any doubts. Christian von Preissing, Channel 5 News at 6.